So if you're a coach, consultant, agency owner, perhaps even a service provider or a business builder, then the biggest question on our minds sometimes is, are we currently working in the right direction? Will the work that I'm currently investing will compound and eventually will help me to achieve the results that I'm actually looking for? Or am I quietly actually wasting time? I remember the time when I actually started a business. I started as a coach, tried to help a lot of people. I built a lot of content. I wrote a lot of content. It seemed like I'm doing enormous amount of progress every single day, only at the end realizing that, hey, I was actually working in the wrong direction. I wasted more time than actually using the time to build the things that I actually wanted in order for me to get the results that I wanted. Okay? And sometimes we also need to understand that, yes, maybe you're working in the right direction, and because we don't see the results, it's the same as we plant a seed in the soil is not going to reward us straight overnight success with a big tree growing the next day. What's going to happen, the small seed is first going to start to develop, then it's going to take its roots to develop in the soil, then the mother nature is going to develop all that energy through those roots, and the tree is going to start to grow progressively, right? So year after year you will see some improvements and some results, but you're not going to see them like every single day. And so the same applies here. Maybe you're working from 10 to 20K, you may be going from 20 to 50K a month, from 50 to 100K a month, from a million to 2 million a month. We need to understand that maybe the small things that we will be doing will compound and eventually get us to where we actually want. The only question is, can we stay disciplined and consistent of doing the same things in order for us to get the results? The next question on the mind is like, well, are the things that I'm currently doing gonna get me to that result, or am I just be gonna wasting time here? Because a 10K company is not the same as a 50K company. And in order for you to get to 50K, you need to do something completely different. And the question is, the different that I'm currently doing, will it actually get me to 50K? Or am I gonna stay the same on the 10K, but I will realize at the end that I actually wasted that time trying to get to 50K, right? And that's the idea that we cannot burn. I have seen coaches, consultants, agency owners, business builders, business people, CEOs, and founders many times. They would be investing their time and an idea creeps up on them, right? Maybe they're working on a big project. Maybe they're working on revolutionizing the entire industry. And the idea creeps up on them of like, hey, have I been actually wasting time here? Because I haven't seen anything happening in a year. And I don't know how close I am, because there is no, like, you don't have a measurement stick the way you can measure, like, hey, I'm only 2 hours away or 3 hours away, right? This is not like you get in a plane and then the pilot will tell you, yes, you're going to be landing in an hour. This is something that there is no pilot. You are the only pilot, and you have to really believe and have faith in yourself that the things will work out the way you actually expect them to work out. And so the question is, again, like, am I working in the right direction or wrong direction? Because if I have trying to revolutionize the industry by building something incredible and I've spent a year, am I 2 steps away, 3 steps away? Or am I in the right direction? Or am I secretly actually wasting time? Okay? And obviously knowing that, hey, you're a couple steps away, maybe you are just a couple weeks, months away, you have that more energy, you have more motivation to go forward. But because you don't know if you're in the right direction, that's what really creeps up on you. And I have seen coaches, consultants, agency owners, business builders, CEOs, and founders really dip in their energy, their motivation dips, everything just dips and changes. Why? Because it's just the idea that, hey, I'm wasting actually time. Okay? So that's why within this video, I will help you to understand a couple things. Why direction matters more than effort, okay? And then we're gonna go to knowing whether you are building momentum or running in circles, identifying early signals you are actually on either on the wrong path or the right path, evaluating your strategy, not just the actual effort, and understanding time, the concept of time, the patience and the compounding correctly, and actually how to build towards success you can actually sustain, not just hit once, okay? Because the main thing is like, hey, yes, I want to achieve success, but that's not the end goal. The end goal is hit the success and sustain it so you can enjoy it, not to hit success and then after a month like, hey, I'm back to square one, okay? So let's get into it. So why direction matters more than effort? Most people don't fail because they don't work hard. They fail because they work hard in the wrong direction. Let me give you an example of that to clarify. So let's say you start here and the gold is here. You want to dig up the gold here. And maybe you're going this way, this way, this way, this way. But end of the day, you are in the right progress, you are in the right direction, and you hit the gold, right? So this feels good, okay? We may not see the results, but we end up there. The thing that we cannot bear is that you started here, the gold is here, and you went all the way here, and then you went all the way here, 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 and you're just going either in the circles, but you're nowhere near the right direction, right? So that's what really matters here. And this is why I made this video, to really understand, really analyze and assess yourself if you're actually working in the right direction and you should keep going, or you should actually change what you're currently doing, okay? Because sometimes I have seen people study to be an architect and end up being a fitness coach just because they love fitness more than actual architecture, and the fitness gave them more results, better results, more financial freedom than actual being an architect. Because an architect was sold that, hey, if you're an architect, you will financially be very stable. But that's not true. Most of the times it really depends like how effective you are in the actual industry, right? So most people don't fail because they don't work hard, they fail because they work hard in the wrong direction. Effort without direction doesn't compound, it actually exhausts. You can be disciplined, motivated, consistent, and still be drifting. And the scariest part is, from the inside, the wrong direction often feels like progress, right? Posting content, doing all these things, messaging people, doing all the things that like seems like, hey, I'm really doing a lot and this is a lot of progress. But the question is your progress in the right direction or the wrong direction? So this video itself, this training that we will be doing, will help you to know whether you are building momentum or running in circles, identify early signals you are on the wrong path, evaluate your strategy, not just an actual effort, understand time, patience, and compounding correctly, build towards success you can sustain, not just actually hit once, okay? So this isn't about hassle, it's about actually alignment, leverage, and systems. So let's begin with the principle one, the difference between actual motion and actual progress. Motion feels productive, but progress actually creates leverage. So what does actually motion looks like, right? This could be posting constantly, but seeing no pipeline growth, trying to multiple strategies at once, staying busy to avoid clarity, measuring effort instead of actual outcomes. And then what does actually progress look like? Fewer actions, right, with clearer intent. One system getting sharper over time. Metrics improving predictably, and decisions get easier, not actually harder. So the key principle here to take from this is, if your inputs are increasing, but your outputs are flat, you are not progressing. You are compensating, okay? Progress always simplifies. Motion always multiplies complexity, right? Staying just busy and being busy doesn't always mean that you are in the right direction and that you are building progress towards achieving your goals. Sometimes I see business owners are just busy. Hey, I need to post the content, I need to reply to an email, I sent somebody an email, somebody's maybe going to help me to get a client, let me reach out to them, let me do this, let me do this. And it's like you're running in circles, but it seems like you are doing a lot because you are very busy. All your day was completely busy, right? Let's move into principle two, how to know if you are working in the wrong direction, okay? And this is the principle two that you probably want to really know, okay? And this is something that I wanted to know at the start when I started building businesses, and probably also I wanted to know, and I still want to know, like for example, I want to get to 1 million a month, right? Am I working in the right direction? Or am I just wasting time, okay? So wrong direction has very specific signals. Most people ignore them because they are uncomfortable, right? Just to bear the idea that I'm working in the wrong direction is very uncomfortable, and sometimes you can look foolish, right? You may think I'm gonna look foolish, I'm gonna look silly, I'm gonna look like an actual total idiot because I have wasted time. But that's not the truth. Even if you have wasted time, it doesn't matter that you haven't learned anything from that, because at the end of the day, what really matters is that you arrive at your final destination that you have designed for yourself and that you wanted to achieve in the beginning. That's what actually matters. How fast you get there doesn't really also matter, because at the end of the day, what matters is that you get there, and when you get there, you have built certain characteristics, you have a certain value, and your certain identity also has changed, okay? So let's jump into it. Wrong direction has very specific signals. Most people ignore them because they are uncomfortable. You are likely working in the wrong direction if, okay, you need constant motivation to continue. Results depend heavily on mood, energy, or adrenaline. You can explain why something works, only that it sometimes does. Okay? And growth resets when you stop pushing. You feel pressure to keep going instead of actually having clarity to continue. Okay? So I'm gonna say this one more time. You need constant motivation to continue. Like you constantly need to get you need to okay, this is gonna sound a little bit controversial because you still need to constantly sometimes it's not also with motivation, because I think by some stage, if you are already experienced business owner, you will understand that, hey, it's not always about motivation. I don't need to feel motivated. I need to be disciplined to do the things even when I'm not motivated, right? But also there is a line of understanding, like, because if you know you're working in the right direction, you will have more motivation to work towards it because you know you're running in the right direction, right? When you don't know you're working in the right direction, your motivation will dip, and you will need to leverage more of your willpower. Okay, and you need to understand that consistently motivating you to, like, hey, I just need to get this done. I just need to get this done. I need to get this done, is sometimes also a sign that you could be working in the wrong direction because you have no proof of concept that is actually working. Okay, or it could be working. Let me give you an example to better understand. Now, let's say, for example, you start a YouTube channel and you need to build content because you know you need to provide value in order for you to in order for you to actually stand out, in order for you to build authority, in order for you to actually help people, give them the value so they can build businesses, so they can actually trust you. But let's say you also understand that, hey, it's not going to be easy because I will need to consistently build this momentum of building actual value and providing actual insights to people so they can build their companies. And so will need to do videos every single day. And over a year, maybe that will compound and will give me the results, or it could be even 2 years. Okay. Now you understand that, and the posting becomes very clear because you need to be consistent for 2 years, right? We know that. Now the second question is, right, I'm consistently posting videos, but am I posting the right videos that will attract the right audience? Or am I actually posting the wrong thing that will not give me any results because I'm just posting? Because posting is posting, but posting about something where people actually get value and you understand how to help them, and specifically in your niche, is something completely different to just actually posting. And that's the idea, again, that I'm trying to make here, is that you may be, if you need to, like, let's say you are consistently building videos and you need to get motivated every single day to make another video, then it could be also that you are working in the wrong direction. But by you knowing that, hey, 2 years, 1 year, I need to build a lot of content in order for me to build my brand, in order for me to build like a huge pipeline, in order for me to have huge leads, authority, and trust. This will take me a year, but I need to stay consistently building these videos. And yes, some days I will not have motivation, but I will have discipline and willpower to actually execute. That's different. But if you are working months and months and you're not seeing anything, right? You're not seeing any people viewing your content, you may be not seeing people joining or subscribing, then that could be a sign that, hey, I'm working in the wrong direction, and I just continuously need to motivate myself to keep pushing this. Okay. Second thing is, results depend heavily on mood, energy, or adrenaline, right? And this again goes into a lot of coaches, consultants, agents, owners. This is to do with a lot of systems. Sometimes it's like, it's all really depends on my mood and energy, and if I have a lot of energy, then I will reach out, I will do 100 messages. Or let's say maybe they are doing a cold email and they said, hey, I'm going to send 100 emails tomorrow. I don't have a lot of energy, I'm not going to send so much, right? This is to do more with systems. And you can explain why something works, only that it sometimes does, right? That's a huge sign. Let's say, for example, you may be posting videos, right? And you're not getting likes, you're not getting views, you're not getting people over like, let's say over a couple months, you don't get any subscribers or anybody liking your content. That could be a sign that, hey, my things are not working. And sometimes you may have somebody liking your content, may indicate, okay, sometimes it works. I don't know exactly what actually worked and what got me that like, but I got one content piece liked. Okay, That's all that matters. But in reality, we really need to understand what works and what doesn't in order for us to do more of the things that actually work and less of the things that actually don't work, right? So this is why you can't explain why something works, and only that it sometimes doesn't and sometimes doesn't. So growth resets when you stop pushing. Okay, at the start, obviously you're building your business out, and you want to get to 100K a month, 200K a month, and then that's an indication. Let's say this is also need to understand some things. Sometimes you need to keep pushing your business forward in order for your business to actually grow. Okay, you can't just say, hey, if I'm not working and I'm not hitting 100K, it's not working. No, it is always working. Things is always going to be working if you already have a proven concept that is working, and you are pushing harder to make it work. The only difference is, can you systemize it so when you are not pushing, it still actually works? Okay, because at the end of the day, you don't want to keep just pushing, because you will get burnt out and exhausted. So it's about also about system installation, and you feel pressure to keep going instead of actually clarity to continue. For me, the biggest takeaway of all of these would be to have clarity. If you are deep inside of your deepest assets, truly believe that, hey, I know 100% because I have seen this model works before, I just need to build it and I need to compound. That compounding effect will deliver the result that I'm actually looking for if I just keep going, because I know I have clarity in what I'm doing. The most important thing that I want to give you is, do you have actual clarity? And if you are very clear that what you are doing will deliver the results, then good, then keep going. If you're not really sure if it will deliver results, it will not deliver the results, because you don't have no clarity, you don't have maybe the right mentorship, you don't have the right coaching, you have looked at everything, but you really can't focus on just one thing, and maybe you're doing a lot of things at the same time, and you don't have clarity on which thing is actually going to work out. That could be that you also could be working in the wrong direction, because usually it takes only, you need to focus on one thing and improve that one thing by every day, which will compound over long periods of time, which will deliver results, right? So look at also clarity, right? Does it provide clarity for you that this will work out? Okay, and then let's get to something big. Okay, so another major signal, this is something very major. You keep changing tactics without changing the actual systems. Okay, you maybe be changing the strategy, you may be changing the things, instead of actually building and having a system or changing that system to a better system. Okay, because end of the day, all what we are doing has to do around systems. Okay, so switching platforms, offers, messaging, or audience repeatedly is often avoidance disguised as actual strategy. But the wrong direction feels noisy, the right direction feels quiet but heavy. Okay, so if you're switching platforms, you're changing offers, you're discounting, you're messaging, you're changing how you're messaging, you're changing your audience, this could be a huge strong signal that you're working in the wrong direction. Because first, I'm just going to give you some insights, is usually you would have to validate your offer by going into the marketplace. If you don't have a validated offer, this is probably to do with a lot of coaches that may be sitting at 5K or 10K and they're trying to scale to 20, 30, 40, even 100K. You need to have a scalable offer, a validated offer, right? You can also look into my channel. There will be a content piece on how to create a scalable offer. But just for this purpose, before you switch platforms, before you change offers, before you change messaging, before you change audiences, you need to drill down the offer. You need to get good with an offer. Once you have asked, let's say you go into market and you do market research, you ask 10 people, hey, would you actually pay for an offer like this? Once you get like clear yes, and then you get indication of how much they would pay, you give them three examples of like, hey, if you would have unlimited amounts of money, what would you pay me if I ask you? If I ask you for 5,000, would you pay me 5,000? Would you pay me 4,000? Would you pay me 3? Which one would you pay? If they say, yeah, easily could pay for 5,000 even for this offer, great, you have a valid offer, okay? But if you keep changing all the time, it's the indication that you're working actually in the wrong direction, okay? Because you kind of not knowing what's working, what is working, what's not working, and you're not really getting down to one thing and one thing only. So wrong direction feels noisy, right direction feels quiet but heavy. Okay, the heavy is the part of discipline, the willpower, and showing up every day. Principle 3, the time misunderstanding that ruins most people. So most people don't quit too early. They quit because they misunderstand how time works in building something real. This is going to be very valuable, and I really hoped and I wanted somebody to show me this and talk about this third principle when I started out, because that would change a lot of things for me. It will cut the learning time for me twice. So most people don't quit too early. They quit because they misunderstand how time works in building something real. Okay, there are three phases to every meaningful outcome: no visible results, delayed uneven results, compounding results, right? Most people quit in phase one or sabotage phase two. No visible results. Sometimes people say, hey, this is overwhelming, I'm not seeing anything. But what I don't understand, that it's actually compounding. It is compounding, and with time you will get better, and your compounding effect will double, triple, quadruple, and then it will be very hard for somebody to actually catch you, because you'll be ahead of the game. So it's super important. Okay, so there are the three phases: no visible results, delayed uneven results, and compounding results. So most people quit in phase one or sabotage phase two. Here's the truth: early work builds infrastructure, not applause. Systems compound late, not actually early. A lack of feedback does not mean a lack of progress. Like I said, you could be built like I'm currently at the stage where I'm building the YouTube channel. Okay, so I want to provide massive amounts of value to my audience and to people that are building businesses. But I know that not on my first video somebody's gonna watch and applause and start commenting, and I know on my second, third, fifth, 10th, 20th, 30th, 40th, even the 100th, this will not happen, and I'm cool with it. Even if I do 1,000 pieces of content and nobody does it, nobody comments even once, I'm cool with it, because I will keep going knowingly and having clarity that this is what needs to be done in order for me to get to a point where my business is growing organically. Okay, with content, with providing value, referencing back to value, so on and so forth. So I'm cool with it. So I don't need necessarily feedback, knowing that I'm actually in the right direction, because I know I'm investing and the progress is there. And even if I don't have a lot of feedback, okay, I still know that the progress will make up for it, because I have clearly seen this model works, and there is a lot of reasons why this works, and I have validated also the reasons of why this will work better than any other strategy, and why this takes the longest time possible, but in the end, in the long term, this will work out 10 times better than any other strategy. Okay, so here's the truth: early work builds infrastructure. Okay, so building the foundations, the learning curve. Systems compound late, not early, and then you have a system that you can systemize around it. And lack of feedback does not always mean that there's lack of progress. The wrong question is, why isn't this working yet? Okay, that's the wrong question. The right question is this the right system for where I want to go? And am I giving it enough time to compound? Time rewards direction, not actual effort. Okay, so let's get into part 4, which is the principle 4. Let me put this. So how to self-assess if you are moving correctly. You should audit yourself weekly using these lenses. So lens number 1, directional clarity. You clearly answer who is this for, what problem it solves, and why this system will compound. Do you have an answer for this? Like, who is this for, so what you are doing, and who is this for who you're doing it, what problem of what you currently are doing is solving, and why what you are doing will compound over time. If not, then you're probably also guessing. Number 2, leverage test. Ask, if I stop working for 7 days, does anything continue producing results? If the answer is no, you don't have a system yet. But that doesn't mean that you are not building a system. It could mean, like, if you're investing heavily in content and you're going and you're building out like a YouTube channel full of value, full of leverage, and you're building your brand, it will take time. Let's say like what I'm kind of trying to focus here is on, let's say, if you stop working for 7 days, does anything continue producing results? If no, you don't have a system yet. What I mean by that is that sometimes also your growth and working the right time also needs to be systemized, because systemized businesses give back time to actual founders, where they can actually use that time to invest back into the business. So let me give you an example. If you're currently doing DMs, cold messaging, emailing, or let's say you need to do one new content piece in order for you to get one new client, okay, and you don't have a system around that, then that means your business is open to liabilities. It's very vulnerable because you don't have systemized. And that means if you stop working, your business stops working. So what you really have currently is a high-paying job. And so what you also need to really think about is leverage, okay? Because leverage is very important here. Do you have also systems? That means like if you're not there for 7 days, will it bring out leads? Will it bring in clients into the business, okay? So that's also something very important to think about. Decision quality. Are decisions becoming faster, more confident, less emotional? If decisions feel heavier over time, something upstream is broken, okay? Then obviously your feedback loop. Do you have a clear signals telling you what to adjust, what to double down on, and what to ignore? No feedback equals no control. Then moving into principle 5, strategy versus activity, how to tell the actual difference. Activity answers what am I doing today or what I'm doing now. Strategy answers why does this path lead to where I actually want to go. If what you are currently doing and the work you are doing tells you why this what I'm currently doing will lead me to the path where I'm going, and if you have a clear answer, great, then you are on the right direction. You are going in the right way, okay? A strategy is valid if it aligns with your long-term vision, it has measurable inputs and outputs, it reduces dependency on you over time, and it can be repeated, refined, and scaled. A strategy is flawed if it requires constant creativity to survive, and that's to do with systems, only works when you are on, so that means also to do with systems. It breaks under pressure or volume, also to do with systems. It doesn't improve with repetition, also to do with systems. If your strategy can't survive boredom, it won't survive scale, okay? Principle 6, understanding the work required. Super important. A lot of people don't realize this, how important is this, and they don't understand really the price that they are paying in order for them to really not understand this. So every level has a price. What gets you to 10K a month will not get you to 50K a month, and you need to understand that. What gets you to 50K a month will not sustain 100K plus, okay? The two work changes from effort to leverage, from doing to designing, from reacting to actually deciding. That's how the work changes. If you're trying to scale without changing how you work, you're trying to grow a tree without deeper roots. The right direction always demands killing outdated habits, letting go of identity tied to effort, and replacing grind with actual structure. Okay? So growth is subtraction before multiplication. So you need to understand also that whatever you did to get to a result where you want now, and then well, let's say you got to 5K and you currently have an operation all about 5K and you're consistently making 5K, that's not gonna get you to 10K a month, and it's definitely not gonna get you to 20, 40, 50, and whatever got you to 30K a month will not get you to 50K a month. So you need to change your leverage, you need to change your systems, and you need to think about your business in way of actually systems, because systems are what actually can be scalable. Just effort and manual process cannot be scaled. That's why most biggest businesses in the world, Amazon, you see Apple, Microsoft, Uber, every big business, every big banking institute, all operate under systems. That's how they can get a huge leverage in scale. So principle 7, sustain success, the most ignored part, okay? Most people ask, how can I actually get there? How can I become successful? If you ask, how can I actually become successful, and how can I stay successful? So like, how can I make $1 million? But not only how can I make $1 million, how can I keep making $1 million and sustain making $1 million and having $1 million, right? Sustainability comes from systems that don't rely on motivation, predictable acquisition, sales, and delivery, clear operating principles, emotional detachment from short-term results. I'm going to actually underline this. This is very important. You need to emotionally detach yourself from thinking in short term. Like, hey, I need to think like what I can get one client, right? Instead of thinking how can I get one client, you need to think about what do I need to build to get consistent flow of leads and clients coming inside of my business. That's what really matters, right? If success requires constant force, it will collapse. Think about this. If you consistently need to build, and you are just building and you're building, and without you, there is no growth, then eventually when you get burnt out, when you get exhausted or when you get sick, the entire thing will collapse. Okay? Because you need to build your business with a strong understanding that systems are what actually scale businesses, right? So you need to detach yourself from short-term results where you need to invest more in manual processes, and you need to think of long-term is like, what system do I actually need to build in order for me to get to where I want, right? If success requires constant force, it will collapse. The right direction builds stability before speed, predictability before scale, control before actual expansion, right? Sustainable success feels boring to outsiders and peaceful to actual builders. So, final principle, direction is daily decision. You don't choose the right direction once. You choose it when you don't see the results yet, when quitting feels logical, when distraction is easier than focus, when ego wants applause before actual outcomes. So you don't choose the right direction once. You choose it when you don't see the results yet, when quitting feels logical, when distraction is easier than focus, and when ego wants the applause before actual outcomes. Because ego will tell you a lot of things, but what you really need to take away from your ego is the actual emotional side and understand with a clear mind is understand this, hey, is this actually ego speaking or this is the actual reality? That's what will actually happen. Okay. The right direction often feels lonely. The wrong direction feels crowded. If your actions today build leverage, clarity, and systems, you are on the right path. If they only burn energy, you are not lost, but you are actually drifting. Directions beats intensity, systems beat effort, and clarity beats speed. That's how you know that you are in the right direction, and that's how you know you're building something meaningful. Okay, so a couple things that we covered today was we went through principle one, which is the difference between motion and progress. Right, motion looks like posting consistently but seeing no pipeline growth, trying multiple strategies at once, staying busy to avoid clarity, measuring effort instead of outcomes. Progress looks like fewer actions, clearer intent, one system getting sharper over time, metrics improving predictably, decisions getting easier, not actually harder. Okay, we went also to principle two, how to know you're working in the wrong direction, right? Because you need constant motivation to continue, results depending heavily on mood, energy, or adrenaline. And I also mentioned to you, sometimes we can be demotivated because we're investing so much time and we're living sometimes in too much noise, and you may feel demotivated, but with discipline and willpower you can still execute, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean that you always need to be super motivated to do something. Sometimes you will not feel motivated, but it's just the right thing to do, to use the willpower to get the things done, right? So results depend heavily on mood, energy, and adrenaline. You can't explain why something works, only that it sometimes does. Growth resets when you stop pushing. You feel pressure to keep going instead of actually clarity to continue. When also principle three, the time misunderstanding that ruins most people, right? No visible results, delayed uneven results, compounding results. These are the three phases to every meaningful outcome. Most people quit in phase one or sabotage phase two. And then here's the truth. Early works builds infrastructure. Systems compound late, not early. Lack of feedback does not mean lack of progress. Then we went over principle 4, how to self-assess if you're moving correctly, right? Directional clarity, leverage test, decision quality, feedback loop. Principle 5 was all about strategy versus activity and how to tell the difference, right? A strategy is valid if it aligns with your long-term vision, it has measurable inputs and outputs, it reduces dependency on you over time, it can be repeated, refined, and scaled. And a strategy is flawed if it requires constant creativity to survive, it only works when you are on, it breaks under pressure or volume, it doesn't improve with the repetition, okay? We went over also our principle 6, understanding the work required, right? Because we also came to understanding whatever got you to 10K a month will not get you to 50K a month. The two work changes, right? From effort to leverage, from doing to designing, and from reacting to deciding. And then we also went through principle 7, which is sustaining success, because you don't want to just achieve success and then lose it. You want to achieve it and sustain it, right? So the question is, how do I get there? That's what most people ask. But then what few people ask is, how can I actually get there and stay there? Okay. And the most important thing from that was how to emotionally detach yourself from short-term results. And then the final principle, which was direction is the daily decision, right? You choose when you don't see results yet, right? When quitting feels logical, when distraction is easier than focus, and when ego wants to applause before actual outcomes. So I hope this all delivered a lot of value to you. I hope this really helps you to understand if you're working in the right direction and help you to assess. I hope you got some nuggets out from this. I hope I made sense to you as well. What I want you to do now is, if you are receiving value from this channel, you're following me and you're getting value, please do subscribe. Do also comment so I know what's exactly happening. And if you do need help, please do comment. Please comment down below. I will try to do my best to actually help you and answer. And if you have maybe any suggestions for the content that you want me to create about, just also post that into comments. One thing that I want to outline is, if you are a coach, consultant, agency owner, or perhaps even a service provider, I want to give you an opportunity to actually schedule a quick call with me and my team. What we will do, we will audit your business and help you to better understand what actually it takes to scale your business. If you're also going to look, you obviously have to be looking to scale your business to the next level. And we will really help you to understand what it takes to actually solve your biggest bottleneck currently inside of your business, so you can actually move past. And if you're also looking for direction, right, you want to know, hey, am I working in the right direction? We can schedule that call and have a bigger picture to understand like what direction you are going towards, what will take for you to get there faster, what is currently working, what's not working, what is the biggest bottleneck that we need to currently solve in order for you to move faster, so it unlocks more speed, more clarity, more precision. And then most of all, if you are the right fit, right, we can also guarantee you results, which is 15 to 35 clients in 90 days, or you simply don't have to actually pay. Now, a couple things: you have to be a coach, consultant, agency, or a minimum generating 5 to 10K per month, and you have to have an offer above 2K. If this all sounds interesting, you can find the link down below in the description, schedule in a call, and we will go from there, and we will deliver massive value for you on the call as well, okay? So I hope this all delivered value to you. Thank you for watching, and I see you into my next video.